Hello everyone and welcome to the ScratchRunning Podcast, the official podcast of competitive browser gaming, where our motto is, Scratch sure has changed. As always, I'm your host Kieran, and with me on the mic are Apfellord, HmYesQuite, and special guest host Klabss.
Hello.
Klabss.
Hello. Hi Klabss.
Klabss with two S's.
Klabss.
Scratch sure has changed. I mean,
Scratch sure has changed.
this one. Also, hello everybody. Apfellord.
Hi.
I mean, I am for just saying our names again at the start. So
Yeah.
quite please do.
HmYesQuite, are you there?
No.
Scratch user
No.
HmYesQuite
No.
from
No.
Scratch. If that is your real name.
Of what he once was.
I don't want to be part of this
Arguable.
anymore.
Pain.
Yes, it's me.
yes.
We're
Okay,
white.
good.
There we go.
Yes.
So,
Hello, quite.
the ScratchRunning Podcast, how does it feel being on episode 19 of the only podcast on
I'll
Scratch?
tell you what it feels like. And then Klabss can tell us what it feels like.
Yeah, it feels amazing.
It feels like I've just recorded a podcast about 2 weeks ago, which is correct because this is the double whammy episode.
Oh, yeah.
Month, whatever. The last one's already edited, recorded obviously
nice.
too. And we're gonna pump them out pretty
We're
quickly.
recording this one right now in case you didn't know.
Yeah. So we're recording this one at the moment. Can you believe it?
Yo,
Whoa, that's
we are-
crazy.
Yo.
you would not believe how recording we are.
I really couldn't.
So now, tell us, Klabss, how are you doing? How are things going? How'd you get here?
All right, this is my magnum opus. I feel like there's no higher
Nice.
up I can get than featured on SRCast number
You
19.
did it.
Thanks. Checks
I
in the
know.
mail.
I made it. So how we got here is we were actually originally going to do we're gonna have Swifty 2.
We were
We're
gonna have
our
Swifty
boy
2.
Swifty 2
The
on
Scratcher.
podcast.
He has
But
a
he's a
Scratch
busy-
account.
He doesn't anymore.
Oh,
Oh, wait,
lost
hold
his
on.
Scratch
Correct
account.
that. He does not.
Yeah. No, he does not have a Scratch account, but he's gonna go in, and I got him in here. But he's a busy man.
Yeah, I mean,
He's a busy man.
things happen. He's a busy man. Which
busy
is
man, we don't all have time, but I do.
we sure do right now.
Yeah.
More
here we
free
are.
time than I know what to do with.
I have so much free time.
That's why we
like,
record podcasts. It's just like everybody who has too
Yeah.
much free time and talks, likes to
You know?
talk a lot.
I like talking. It's fun.
Yeah.
And apparently, other people like to hear us talk too.
That's
'cause we're
weird.
almost, let me say it,
We're almost at 1,000.
at 1,000. I don't know if it's gonna happen with this one.
I don't know if it's going to happen before
Wow,
or after
You
this
don't put your
episode comes
faith in
out,
the
but
Klabs. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
really
we're about
rope
to get a
him in.
grand.
No, I'm very relevant on the Scratch page.
I mean,
I'm
More
getting
so
the
than myself.
quad digits.
Yeah, dude. So I
Double
don't know,
digits, baby.
I mean, Klabss, maybe you have like the target audience we don't
Yeah,
have, and
right.
you're gonna be the crossover.
You have
we
the
do
target
with, like...
audience that
It's
we
the
want.
push. It's the push you need.
It's true. Let me actually talk about that for
Yeah.
a second, because for everybody wondering what Klabss even like, what's his deal?
What
is-
do you
is
do?
this
What
guy?
have
Why
you
are we
made
inviting
on
him?
the Scratch website?
Well, besides him being a cool dude and
Yeah.
playing Minecraft with us,
He's
few
very
times,
good at.
and,
He's
you
very
know,
good at Minecraft. Need I add?
Oh, thank you.
He does make some pretty sick games on Scratch, namely one we talked about, in previous episodes in general,
It's
and
true.
also the last one specifically because there's a sequel coming.
Yeah.
It's Goomble Gurt,
Goomble Gurt.
which is
two.
Rock
Which is
Gray
a-
edition.
Oh,
Real good.
Right.
Well,
Not
the
to be confused with the other editions.
Sure.
Not
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
confused
Does-
with
I guess-
What's the new one?
Goombas.
There
Yes.
are no other
Oh,
Goomble-Gurts.
Goomba's Gurt is not the
Yeah.
it's not the
Someone
type
did
of-
remix Goomble Gurt and replaced every single sprite with a furry, and this is real. And it's
Oh.
called Goomble Gurt Furry Edition,
Oh,
which
okay.
I actually respect a lot. 'Cause that is a lot of effort.
They had to
Scratch
find.
sure has changed.
They had to. They had to go through a lot of furries to make that remix, and for that, I salute them.
Right.
I definitely couldn't have done that.
You mentioned it here, but is it
Is
worth
it better?
checking, or does it worsen one's quality of life?
I personally give them a lot of credit because they took the long way
lot of
through
work.
and went through every sprite individually.
Sure.
When I copy pasted sprites for the different engines,
Right.
so they put a lot of work into it. I wouldn't call it an upgrade. A lot of the dialogue has been like scribbled over to change the different.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
darn.
no.
Instead of just
Well-
retyping it.
Oh no.
Well, you can't retype because I made everything a bitmap.
No, that attitude.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I didn't make it
Text
easy
engines
for
sure go
anyone
a
to
long
do
way.
that.
No, sure.
Yeah. So
I
I
guess.
commend them, but I don't know if I'd recommend.
I actually have like a similar thing where which may even be a weirder one. I don't know. You guys are gonna have to judge that. But somebody made a Monster World Depressed edition where they went.
Oh, I remember
went
that.
on, and they went on
Nick.
and made every single like face in the game sad.
Right, that's
And,
effort.
well, I mean, it's a lot of work. They like even made every single card that has a face on it. They made them
They
sad.
made it sad.
And I playing through it, for some reason it made me happier. Not
Oh.
because I feel, not because I feel, how would you say it? Not because I get happiness out of things being sad, but because it was kind of a funny thing to see how they made certain
Exactly,
faces sad.
exactly. It's like it's watching how they're able to transform your game and putting all this effort into.
I remember making an edit that's just Lunara in a wheelchair saying, "I have crippling poison."
You
There's
know,
a card in the game called Crippling Poison. All right, the joke may be going too far, but I just want to thank that person if they're ever listening to this. I don't know if they are, but that was quite the interesting, one of the more interesting remixes I ever had in my projects. And
Yeah, thank you.
some were like some had tears, some just like had the face, and like it was
Someone like pensive emoji.
interesting. Yeah, pensive emoji.
I really like
there we
pensive
are.
emoji.
Fun games and fun remixes. Have you guys had any like? I mean, Kieran, you were the guy making the remixes, basically.
Yeah, I was the remix guy.
Um,
I had Monster
but-
World Christmas Special. That's a good one.
That's a really good
Nice.
one.
I like
Quite. Have you ever had somebody make a remix of things of yours and
That's good.
Where you were like,
Well, it feels a little preemptive to say it now because it's not finished yet, but it seems quite close to being finished. While sadly, it's a little. My project is too big to be remixed, which is hilarious.
yes,
But
Oh.
someone managed to wrangle Fringe of Forces into something that basically I had intention to do at some point, but they both simplified the code and are now attempting to make it cloud multiplayer so that you can actually play matches online.
isn't
Let's
that music
go.
to everybody's ears?
Yeah,
Let's
like, I think you
go.
could do that pretty easily with Fringe of Forces, and I think that would translate really well.
Yeah, it's,
I think
anything turn-based is like
Dude.
that's already a good
Yeah,
start.
it's like
I
built
think-
for turn based.
I think the move on your part, remix that and update that.
Yeah,
if
and then
it's
be like, "This is
optimized.
my
Yeah.
game." Steal it.
yeah, I made this.
But
Just put
from
credit
having
on it.
tried I made this from having tried like making cloud stuff and like cloud multiplayer games, especially like a turn-based. I tried to make a card
It's
game once.
hard.
It is difficult. I did not think. I mean, that's the case with most like engines I try to make, where I like imagine them super, simple and stuff, but then you start to get into the nitty-gritty stuff and
proves to be harder than you thought it would be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like in every way. To add to the fact that like Scratch only updates its cloud variables every half second or something, maybe every
Yeah,
tenth of a
it's like
second. I don't
tenth.
remember.
Oh, really?
Actually, Griffpatch has some really cool
Yeah.
tutorials on that,
Yeah.
which opened my eyes a lot. So I wish I watched those before
Yeah.
I made
Half
that.
a
but,
second, that's
or
like
where-
30 frames, or as they say on Scratch, 15 frames.
yeah.
Can
Not on
I
Turbo
say
Warp.
something about that?
yeah. Go on.
So, I think what it really comes down to when you're making a cloud game, like I've never even tried it before, but I'm pretty confident I can get one to work, is
Mhm.
that you don't do any of like the calculations over cloud. You don't do any randomness. Like you do not
Absolutely
want a
not.
card
Sure.
game for because drawing cards is going to add a random element, and that's
Well-
going to desync. If you do it on your on locally, and you just calculate everything locally, you can just basically make it so the only thing you send over cloud is a choice. And as long as all the information is within the game, it'll be like, okay, he selected that card, and then it'll just play itself. That's the only thing you have to do over cloud is that they selected a card.
Sure.
That is true, and
That's
that's pretty
nice.
much what I did. I'll go even further. Like, I didn't even go with like they selected this card. I just went with like there were certain places on the field where you could place a card, and it only checked what card was on that place at the moment. Not even if you played it at the moment.
Yeah,
It just
right.
checked was there one or not, and then the stats of that thing. But that's a whole other thing. But
So it stops being a cloud is hard, and it turns into making a card game is just hard.
well, but then I don't know. Things still turned out to be buggy because my biggest problem I think was the game worked fine for a few rounds, but then at some point, because everything was client side and the server didn't like it, the only thing the cloud variable did was just update what's on the field right now or whose turn it was. At some point, because on either side something didn't like quite update right or something like that, both players started to think, or both clients started to think it was the other person's turn.
Uh-oh.
So because like one ends their turn, this is very inside baseball, but the cloud variable would then go into like a state of, okay, this is like a switching state, but then the first one would update, okay, it's the next person's turn, but the other guy would never receive that for some reason. And
Uh-oh.
it just caused like a soft lock basically.
Yeah.
So there's
I kind of want to say what I'm thinking right now. Holding everything server-side, like in a cloud variable, reminds me of what Noodle Cake Games does. They hold all game data server-side, so that if you try to have a hacked client, the server just says no. The game says no and sends you the game data that they have server-side. So I have actually never seen anyone hack on Golf Blitz.
Interesting.
Wow.
Pretty good anti-cheat.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Like
They
I mean,
hold
anti-cheat is a whole
yeah.
other thing. I don't know how easy that is to do.
They
in
hold
Scratch,
all
honestly.
game data server-side. One time I was streaming Golf Blitz, and in one game, one of the maps was not good, so I complained about it on stream, and without updating, without doing anything, next game, the hole was fixed.
Huh.
Wow,
They can just do that on their framework.
Well,
that's incredible.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, the only
Netcode.
downside is you
Netcode.
need to like download everything from the server. But if it's a small game, it doesn't matter.
It's a
at all.
small game.
Yeah.
It's only Golf Blitz. That has like no players.
Yeah.
I'll talk trash on Golf Blitz players.
But Golf Blitz is a fun game. That
It's a
everybody should
Can we
good
get an
game.
SR Wimmers for Golf Blitz, guys?
We gotta
Alright,
we got
dude,
our
I
SR
forgot
winners for
about the
Golf
SR winners.
Blitz.
I always last time I edited the last episode, and when I said like I even tried to say it as early as possible to everybody.
Can I get an SR? That was in
emote
segment
SR
2, wasn't
winners.
it? It was an
It
SR.
was in segment 2. It was like even
Ow.
30 seconds into segment 2.
Oh.
So everybody, when at the moment of hearing this, please emote with SR Wimmers. And-
or
Wimmers.
even better.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Or even,
Show your love not only for the SRCast but also for a game Quite has made,
wait, me.
and which might get like actual updates soon.
Oh.
It's
Yo.
great.
I was gonna
That's
say,
looking
like,
soon.
wait, we talked about many games since then.
Let's get an
Talk
SR
about
Wimmers for
Golf
all
Blitz.
these games.
We talked about Fringe of Forces. We talked about Monster World, didn't we? We said it again.
So
Yeah.
Apfellord.
Oh yes. Hello.
If you're still looking to make that game, I would just recommend make it so there's no cloud variables and so that it just works if you play it on a local computer, and then translate it to cloud variables, and that makes it a lot
see.
easier to debug.
I think with games I made previously, which one of them was like Tiny Planes, is like a 1v1 like a shooty game where I think that was a game where I tried that, where I like took the framework of a game I already, or not the framework is the wrong word, but
No, I
like,
think that
where I took the
works.
frame of the game I already made and just tried to convert that into a multiplayer like experience where it just literally updates what the thing is doing right now.
Yeah.
And it turned out that like so many things, and that game wasn't
netcode
even like
kind of
all
breaks
typical.
things.
Yeah, where it's like the game was made a certain way because it was never meant to be online.
Was it
And,
turn-based?
No, it was.
Then you're gonna have some
real-time.
problems. You're gonna have
That's
a
true.
couple problems.
That's true, but it still had like I don't even mean like from a lag standpoint, or from a from the problems I had with the card game I made. I think it's just if you make a game, you definitely have to have in mind like for certain scripts, like how is this gonna translate to a cloud
Right.
Yeah.
cloud based game. But I don't know, maybe I certainly learned a lot since that since that card game I tried to make. And maybe I'll tackle it once again. I think
You
Ark,
should.
who was also on the podcast before, he talked like about it in our community program of choice not too long ago. He was like,
kind of cool place.
Yeah. He was like, hey, we should make a card game sometime, like an online cloud-based one, like Hearthstone. I was like,
And
you see,
that.
you're just gonna say, "You fool, you moron."
We have tried this, and it did
Been
not
there, done
go
that.
well.
Whatever you do, don't make a turn-based online cloud game.
I might be underestimating Cloud. What I saw, it looked easier than I thought it was going to be from Griffpatch's tutorials. But
True.
For all you know, I'm going to be back on our preferred community-based program, and I'm going to be crying.
Nice.
I'm like, well, upon further research,
All my homies love Griffpatch.
Yeah, Griffpatch, cool dude. Like, he does make it look very easy, I feel. Although he also explains it very well, so maybe we can all learn a thing or two.
Yeah. If it works for me, I would be happy to help too.
Actually, you know what? There's no good segue for this, but this is just something we really wanted to talk about, and I can understand why, because it's always, especially for you, Klabss, I would like to know what you had in store, but then decided
I have
you
many.
didn't want to publish.
I don't really have any
yes.
good one-shots.
Let's actually. So, do you have one in particular that comes to mind, like when you?
I have
think
one
of a game you really would have liked to release, but then never did.
It is done. Like, I completed this game.
What?
Yeah, it's a full game. It's another boss rush. You're playing a king with a sword, and you're fighting down these different entities. And it had cool music, cool sound effects. I thought the sound design was really well made. And I got to the very end, finished the boss fight, and there was just two glaring problems. And one of them
wasn't fun.
That was one problem. It just wasn't that fun. The second problem was I made him hold the sword, and I was too lazy to make a facing left, facing right sprite, so I just mirrored him left and right. So basically, whenever you turn left and right, you'd swap hands where the sword was holding. Yeah. And I was like, this doesn't look good, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Toss it, throw the whole thing away.
Just remove it.
Just completely game breaking. He's left-handed all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's left-handed. My suspension of disbelief.
Is unplayable.
Any ambidextrous final bosses in the chat?
Drop an SR Wimmers for ambidextrous.
No, I want SR Stone Nose because we will never see
any right-handers.
It's nice to know that there's final bosses listening to the podcast. So
yeah,
let us
if
know.
you're a final boss,
it's true. Yep. How are the final bosses out there doing? So.
Good morning to all of my final bosses listening to this. Everyone else, GM, I guess.
Quite. I'm curious if you've ever had any ideas you scrapped and might have gotten
look
a lot.
At his newest project.
Right. I was gonna say that my update and gallery are basically
that's a good project
spun out. I'd say the biggest one that is most certainly scrapped, unfortunately, would probably be that I had a sequel to Mission Takvar. Because Mission Takvar ended up as a top-down puzzle shooter, sort of, which was great, but it wasn't really the game I set out to make. I set out to make something a little more fast-paced. So I started to make a second one, which was called Takvar Guns Blazing. And it was faster paced.
That does sound more fast paced. I'm gonna be honest.
Right.
Because mission something is always okay,
it's gonna be Mission Impossible. They're gonna be sneaking around. No.
Guns blazing.
Guns
blazing.
If Mission Takvar is Smash 64, Guns Blazing is Smash Melee.
It's I'm about to see it coming soon to theaters.
A little bit.
I imagine that title just hits the screen, explosions come from the left and right. There's something flying around.
Did you have a lot of concepts for this finished, and you just decided it didn't fit the theme, or what was the reason you dropped it?
The reason was just because, first of all, I constantly have new ideas, and eventually I just had so many that I wanted to move towards those. But also because I realized as I got closer to, because I have a prototype of this that I've been waiting for someone to drop into the comment section of my update to say, yeah, I'd like to see that as a sample. On which point I'll upload it, but probably not before then.
Let me be that person and just say, yes, I'd like to see that.
Could
HmYesQuite.
you release this game? That sounds pretty cool, man.
Anyway, never mind.
You need some.
I'm sorry I said anything.
No, it said. Listen, I would like to see
me and
guns blazing, please.
me and my big mouth.
You need some
Yeah, can I
rando
get-
out there.
Hey,
to-
can I get
to
a
tell you.
boneless guns blazing with a sound attack bar?
That's what I'm saying.
What have I done?
You need-
Anyway,
Right.
the thing what happened is that as I got closer to making it, and as I had more and more of a working prototype, I realized, oh, I see what I'm doing. I'm taking what was kind of an interesting idea and turning it into something I've seen many times before. It is not particularly interesting.
Oh no.
And
I get it.
most of my projects, I try my best to make something that's unique, because I think if it exists
Unique.
elsewhere, it's probably also better elsewhere, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, I just thought, this is no longer something that's unique enough to do.
So you're worrying that someone's already done it better.
Oh, I'm certain someone's
Original
already done
idea. Platformer where you can swap gravity.
better.
Guys like
Wow.
that? Yeah.
Anyone
Wow,
played
dude.
VVVVVV in the chat?
Whoa,
That's a
whoa,
bad-
what do you say?
that's a
They ripped
bad-
me off. They ripped me off.
It was my idea first. Gravity was my invention.
No one has ever pushed a crate before my game.
Push it under the button and door open.
Crate pushers.
Sometimes there's
Can we get
other
Alright,
things.
SR
guys,
Wimmers
hold
for
on.
crate pushers?
Oh, my homies love crates.
Portals.
Ooh.
Portals,
Poggers, dude.
everybody. Nobody has done that before.
To be
I
fair,
swear.
not as many people have actually attempted that, probably because it takes a little
Done
more
it
effort.
well, yeah.
Portals
Yeah.
are hard. You have to have I guess you could make it all in one sprite with the first
But
and the
then
second
there's-
portal.
But then there's the dude who literally made like a good Portal 3D engine
Oh, I
in Scratch.
forgot
And I'm
about
Oh
not-
yeah,
that.
someone's already done it better.
That was
I'm not
sick.
even gonna start to scratch that because or scratch the surface of. I get it.
Scratch. He said it like the
He said the
bomber.
funny.
Roll credits,
Whoa.
everybody. No, but
Roll credits.
there's I know what you mean quite, to get back to the topic, where it's like you start to make something and it starts to look like whatever you know all the other things you start to see out there, all the other games that like kind of all do a similar thing. I'm one to talk because I made a Slay the Spire,
And I made
ripoff, but-
Pokemon.
oh yeah, you know what?
I made a
you
Super
know,
Fighter tournament ripoff.
there's sort of-
It's about putting your own spin on it. It's about making it yours, right?
and also,
Yeah.
different people have different reasons for making things. Like, tons of people
Yes.
have just, hey, I'd love to, like, make a game like that, but fill it with my own kinds of things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Monster World is Nick's vector to tell a story.
That too.
I guess so.
With
I guess so.
Goomble Gurt, it's the cool art style for me. But for some people,
Ooh.
it's views.
I mean, I'm not gonna name drop any but like, yeah, that's true. Some
You
some
know what
literally
I'm
just
thinking
go for
of, though.
something everybody knows
Get
because
some scratch drama in here, guys. Spill the tea.
Scratch.
the interesting part about this is I guess we were the first, or was there a big like Pokemon game before Goomble Gurt? I mean, I'm pretty sure Goomble Gurt 2 or whatever it's gonna be called. Do you actually have a name for that?
Right now, I think it's either Bone White Edition or Pepper Red
Oh.
Edition.
Oh, nice.
Pepper, okay, I see. So we.
Yeah.
Why was the first one Rock
Gray?
Gray? There isn't even a rock type.
So, all right, so we can go into the origins of Goomble Gurt.
Yes.
Originally,
Let's
I'd just been
go.
playing Pokemon during lunch with some friends. Like,
Yes.
we'd play on Pokemon websites. We would do like
Heart
showdowns.
Gold? Soul Silver? Nah, Rock Gray. Let's
And
go.
I just wanted to make a really stupid parody. It's why Marge Simpson is your mom. It's
Right.
why all the Goombas have really goofy faces.
It does not come from
Uh,
a place of stoic, like, severity.
No, I get it.
It wasn't never meant to be a very serious game. I got like pretty far into it, and I'm like, what if I put like a plot twist in this?
Yeah.
And
Ooh.
that's
If it
where all
became
the
serious.
meta stuff comes from. But other than that, it was supposed to just be a goof. So I just wanted to name it something really mundane. It's Pokemon
Yeah.
Rock Gray.
Rock
It's like, all right,
Gray.
Goomble Gurt Rock Gray.
Was
Yeah.
how at what point did you know the game was going to be called Goomble Gurt? Was it like super early or super late where you just thought, okay, you know what, we need 2 syllables or like, oh no, 2.
I'm gonna
you know
right
what I mean?
now. I think I'm looking through. I think it used to have another name that was equally garbage. And,
Don't undersell it later.
But it's stylistically garbage.
right. I like it being garbage. That's my style. That's all my games have kind of a stanky goof to it. And I think it was originally called like Grimblemeyer. And I wanted it to be a little more.
So going by this logic, we're trying to find, this is the classic case of somebody put like no thought, but like
what?
Not a lot of thought into something, and people are trying to figure out like the lore behind it.
Oh, right,
so
right.
I just want to find out what the Gurt is. So the Goombles are the things. Are you the Gurt? That's what Karen said earlier. But
all right, so okay,
who's the Gurt?
I can spill a little bit of lore.
Right.
So there is lore, and it's going to be more explored in the second game.
Oh my god!
I was gonna say like,
so
could you consider that they're just sounds? But no, carry on, Klabss. Sorry.
No.
So Professor Pistachio is actually one of many professors that are actually making these games. And at the start of Goomble Gurt 2, you get to watch a cutscene as he is reprimanded for his failure in the first game. And that's where you see these large monolithic creatures that he appears to be almost afraid of. And I won't spoil too much, but Gurt has to do a lot with what the eventual goal of the council is.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know there was that much
law.
Like, okay, you know what? I'll take back everything I said. Like, there was thought put into this. Maybe not in the initial version, but this one certainly will be.
All right.
You showed us both of the playable characters, which is very cool.
I know that Hobson made Funkymon, but I feel like this one, the Goomble Gurt, you know, Pepper Red or Bone White edition, will be like the definitive Pokemon knockoff.
Oh yeah, it's gonna have a lot of crazy stuff.
It's gonna be
the
only Pokemon game on Scratch.
On Scratch, you heard it here first.
Right.
Just like we are. Okay, no.
I'll say it. I'll say it if you don't want to.
It's for the memes at this point.
It's for the content.
I don't need to say it. The people know already what we're trying to say. It's like the meme writes itself. That's how
you
it
know
goes.
what's going on.
Are you guys talking about
real ones
competing podcasts on Scratch?
We are the only podcast.
We're the only podcast on Scratch.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there are no others. It's just
Block
you know.
Talk.
Right.
Never heard of her.
There's actually, they did comment on our profile recently again.
I am very excited for the return of the only other podcast on Scratch.
They're gonna upload another podcast of theirs before the end of the decade.
Oh, nice. I look forward to that.
Y'all can look forward to that when you're 10 years older.
Yo, I'm gonna be
living off all the SRCast money.
Yeah,
in your mansion.
That's legit. Exactly what's gonna happen.
Yep, definitely.
That's the plan.
All this money we get from Scratch, man. It's
actually the plan.
You know, I have something that I think definitely couldn't happen, but just I was thinking the other day. I wonder if you could sponsor a Scratch podcast to put an advertisement in it.
We did have this like a similar question, not question, but Fuzzy Weasel. Most of you out there might know him. Fuzzy was like, okay, so obviously, you know, ads on Scratch are not gonna happen, but like, what about sponsoring? And I'm honestly, I don't think I ever would. I don't know what kind of sponsoring there like would even be interesting for the people out there. I don't know if Fortnite would like to pay us to get even more kids to play Fortnite.
Because you're definitely not sponsored by Sprite, the fruity fresh drink that keeps on cooling.
Klabss, we've talked about this. That's not happening until episode 30, Klabss. Sprite aren't going to sponsor us till then.
Also, you had to toss your hat somewhere in the ring, and you picked Sprite.
Sprite?
You guys, Sprite? Hey, it's like Scratch. It's like, you know, the fruity fresh drink. That's what. Okay.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, Sprite.
Yeah, you guys are reading too much into it.
Like the thing on Scratch.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Not
that's
the
funny.
Delicious and refreshing soda.
You
should totally purchase
funny.
with code
That's
SO.
my fault for taking a full 20 seconds to get that pun. Sorry about that.
Guys, purchase Sprite at your local convenience store.
Anyway, subscribe to Kira.
Oh, what? No. I mean, the only people we sponsor are ourselves. Wait, hold on. We are
The only
sponsored by
people-
ourselves.
Yeah, I sponsor Nick all the time.
Yes, we
Every
we shout
video-
each other out.
Every video Nick makes, he tells people to subscribe to me as well as him.
Yeah. It's
So
a
here we
mutual
It's a
sponsorship.
win-win situation.
Right.
It-
Like
it
a
just works
symbiosis.
out.
I'm awaiting the payout checks from the sponsorship.
Yeah,
They have
Yeah,
not
me
arrived
too.
yet.
That
Checks in
Sprite
the mail,
money
buddy.
is not...
Nice.
My check is
it-
not in the mail.
It sure takes a while. Tough times right now. It's like,
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Sorry, I can't
Oh,
hear
yeah.
you. Break it up.
He
There's
left
like-
the call. Oh no, where'd
It's
he
like,
go?
oh no, what do you guys? Are these cloud variables?
Oh,
Hey,
it's lagging. It's lagging. Too many people are in the project.
Remember when someone actually asked what cloud variables we used to make the SRCast?
The answer is a lot. The answer is
We
many.
have so many cloud variables, you're not going to
That's how we get it online.
You
That's
know-
how you get
you
it
know how you
online.
can
is use
put-
all
That's
the
how
cloud
you-
variables.
audio through MIDI so that like the overall like sound form kind of sounds like audio. Yeah, we just send the podcast through
Uh-oh.
as a bunch of variables.
Actually, yeah. Well, sponsoring is probably never gonna happen. But can I sponsor a little? No, that's a bad segue. I was gonna say, can I sponsor a little project I never finished? So after I made, I think it was Super Fighter Tournament. After I made that game, after I put out a bigger game, I was in this limbo of like, what am I gonna do next? What game?
Yeah.
Most people would say SFT isn't even finished yet. Why are you not working on that? I say I've been working on that for way too long. Let me try something new. So, I was in this place of like just trying to figure out what next like big project I was trying to start. And back then, like Monster World was just like making Monster World on Scratch was just a little idea in my mind. It wouldn't see the light of day for another like 3-4 years or something.
Wow.
But back then I made this game, like I was obsessed with roguelikes, and I guess I still am with Monster World, but
That's kind of good.
I really wanted to make a game that was a roguelike but forever expanding. So kind of like a built-in endless mode. It was like, I think I called it empty space. It was like you were a spaceship
In space.
You were flying around. You could go on forever, and the game actually can go on forever right now, and the minimap like builds, and it's super cool to do that. And I made like little teleporting points between them. But as you mentioned, it wasn't necessarily something I saw on Scratch before, which is always nice. But the fun just wasn't there, and I felt like it almost felt to me like it was what was that game called? No Man's Sky. Right? Where
No Man's
it had
Sky.
endless possibilities, and you could go however far you wanted, but it was all just the same amount of staleness throughout, right?
Sure.
So it really felt like, a No Man's Sky type game, or even Starbound, if any of you remember that, where it's a game with lots of possibilities, but all of those possibilities, like it's a huge pool of water, but that pool of water doesn't go like deeper than like a centimeter, right?
It's like it's like the entire world is the shallow end.
Yeah. I think it still would have been cool, even if it wouldn't have been like deep. I think there's still something there.
Yeah.
I do like, I owe it to the development of that game that I fell in love with making everything with the pen tools, because that was the first game I was sick of Scratch lagging, right? I was absolutely sick of it. I had the problems with SFT, I had the problems with Dark Rooms, I had the problems with whatever other games I made beforehand where it was terribly optimized, and I wanted to find the best way
Frankie,
to do it.
because you're not allowed
And
to
with
say
this
Monster
game-
World, are you?
And with this game, I finally figured out like every bullet you shot in that game was just a piece of data, not
an
a
entire clone.
Not a clone. Yes, it was just like a list item, right, with all its features and like its position and its direction and its coordinates and whatever. And so you could basically, like previously in Dark Rooms, shooting 3 bullets at once was too much for the game. Now with this game, with
I
Empty
noticed
Space,
when I spam shots with the triple shot, that's when the game starts to lag.
Exactly. But with Empty Space, I could just I had like little sliders I made for that. I could like go into a debug menu and turn up like bullet count to, I don't know, like 10. So you shoot 10 bullets at once and you shoot 10 times a second, and the bullets go super slow, so there's a million on the screen at the same time.
Oh no.
No lag whatsoever. I even made like,
Pen.
I went so far.
Pen good.
Pen amazing.
I remember
not only good, pen is the way.
Yeah, I remember you showing me that and just thinking like, yeah, I didn't think you could do things like that on Scratch in any way, but with Pen, I guess you can.
I've never touched Pen, and my main worry, the reason I've never done it, is because I like to just be able to draw my sprite art, like another program, import it, and I'm not sure how to like get my art into a pen.
Meme of the stamping block. Introduce myself. Allow me to introduce myself.
Right. Is that fine though? Is that not going to lag things if I stamp move, stamp move, stamp move?
Absolutely not. All of Monster World, like I pretty much stamp everything in the newer dev version I'm working on in Monster World. And while you still have to optimize at times, if you do it with scripts running without screen refresh, you're pretty good. Like I think it's pretty fine.
Okay.
And you can like you can decide layers easier with that, like what layers things are on. I don't know, there's so many things I could talk about with Pen. It would make a whole other episode. I don't know if we have time for that today, but
honestly, I would actually let you just upload your entire commentary on Pen good to Scratch Running.
I'm gonna make like, it's not gonna be a podcast, it's just gonna be
just make a video on Pen good.
Welcome to my TED Talk of how Pen is the optimal way to do anything in Scratch.
Get up on the stage. The stage is yours.
Maybe someday, but
the stage, of course, being 480 by 360, but it's a stage nonetheless.
And it only runs at 30 FPS, but
Scratch,
turbo warp. So I owe a lot to that game for helping me understand, Pen in a way that made it easier to move forward to, the game I'm working on now. May have said it before, called Monster World. Except
Monster
it isn't
World.
Anymore. Dun dun dun.
You renamed it? You renamed the game? I know what's going on.
Kieran absolutely knows.
I'm making this game with the Scratch Running.
But I guess I have to reveal some of that stuff soon if I want to get the game out by the end of the year. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but we'll see. That's not the topic of this podcast.
Not always.
It can be. Not always, yes.
This is a varied podcast.
Yeah. This is one of the podcasts I've ever recorded.
Also, have you guys did Scratch finally, just like throwing this topic in there? Did Scratch finally give us back our project on Scratch Running, the teaser?
No.
Good question.
So, mass reporting is a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about it that hasn't been said already. I've just like randomly had this thought right now that the teaser for episode 17 of the SRCast was taken down once again. This time, in my opinion, not really. Yeah, for no apparent reason. The first one was completely understandable. We linked people to a place we should not have, but didn't really know. About. Our Scratch wasn't really clear about it. So,
the second time was just out of pure malice and hatred for the Scratch Running web brand.
Yeah.
Or a meme.
Maybe.
Our sponsor Sprite will hear about this.
Our legal team will hear about this.
I think actually somebody once made a Monster World mod where they just made like a super OP card and it was just cranberry Sprite.
They're right. They're right, and I'll tell you why they're right. It's a refreshing and fruity drink with a lemon lime all the time. 24/7.
More rhymes?
No.
Sprite cranberry?
I'm out. You put me on the spot, sir.
The only thing I can think of talking about right now is Rivals of Ether Definitive Edition.
Oh, let's go. Okay, let's talk about Lost Projects next time we get Swifty on.
Yeah.
Let's do that. But for now, Rivals of Ether got an update.
Rivals of Ether is on the Switch. All the DLC characters are free. They put Tetherball in the game. You ever play Swing Ball? Yeah, that's in Rivals now.
Yeah, boy.
Especially that last one is probably one of the coolest things I ever played in.
Steam Workshop. You can put Super Mario in Rivals.
If you need any more reasons to play
Shovel
Rivals
Knight.
of Ether, there's a snake inside of a mech. There's a dolphin with legs.
There's
Sounds like a Goomble.
there's Barack
It
Obama.
is one.
The 44th president of the United States is in Rivals of Ether. Klabss. Klabss, this is the perfect video game,
Edward.
Klabss.
Edward the Snowman might soon be in Rivals whenever I actually continue to work on him. Turns out I didn't.
I'm waiting.
I'll check the game out. It seems cool.
It's good.
It's cool. It's cool.
It's good.
You could definitely make Edward the Snowman on the workshop. Make your own.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Klabss, luckily because now that Swifty isn't on here, we have a little less content to work with. But luckily, Klabss helped us and wrote down a bunch of little topics he had, in mind. And some of those we already talked about, but I feel like especially with new, new guests and Scratch certainly has changed, as Kieran said at the start of this episode. We may get some new, viewpoints on this. So one of them was Klabss.
Oh, okay. I have 3 big pitches for the Scratch team. You guys know those stock songs you can get that are like do 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 do.
Oh, the ones you just like.
Ever.
I love
I want the
Scratch
extended
default
cut.
library.
I want it. I want them to keep going. I want more. I want more content.
Scratch team.
What lies beyond the hay?
What land? Oh, Dance Celebrate.
Cave ambience.
I love Cave Ambience. I love Dance Celebrate. Wave.
Number 2. I want to.
Can I get just one bit in there before you say the next one? Scratch. Hello. Scratch team. I know you're listening. Hi.
I know you're listening.
If you really want to make money, the big money,
The big bucks.
you need to add to your store that, if people out there are unaware, there's a store you can buy Scratch stickers or stuff like that from, like a shirt if you want to do that. But make an extended cut of the Scratch sounds and put them out on vinyl.
I want an album.
You want a big vinyl.
Put it on a record. I wanna spin some.
I want to spin some.
Yo,
Dance Celebrate
DJ, put
extended.
some Scratch
Hey
cave on.
DJ, put on the Dance Celebrate wave.
Yeah, that's what
That's what I'm
I'm
talking
saying.
about.
Wouldn't that be amazing? I'm just saying it would sell like hot cake. What do people say in English?
Yeah, hotcakes. You get what I'm
Hotcakes,
saying.
good.
I want extended cuts.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 more serious things is I wish I could.
Wait, that first one wasn't serious.
I mean, yeah, that was very serious. I do want that. I do want extended cuts. But I want to be able to just change the number on a costume number, so it'll just position itself on the list.
Thank you. Yes.
That'd be good.
Yes, please. Why is that like?
reorder
Oh my
them.
god.
Just reorder them.
Yes.
Because when I posted 160 Goomble sprites, and I was like, oh right, I need to order these. I'm not. No, thank you.
Karen, were you trying to say something? Because I have another bit for this one.
You bit away.
It's less of a bit. It's more just like let me tell you the one problem with pen. It's you gotta have everything in one sprite, which is why we're at 400 costumes in the
no.
individual costumes in the Monster World main.
Imagine scrolling through those
stamper
without
sprite.
dev tools.
Griffpatch dev tools help a lot, but I would really love to just be able to type in a number and have it go to that place.
Right.
Oh man.
Right.
It's like it doesn't even sound all that difficult to do.
It's
I
not
know,
that
I'm,
hard.
come on.
All we need is a Scratch 3.1
that
that lets
hard,
us do
just
these
make
things.
it.
Please.
Just convert my thoughts to games. Scratch. Come on.
The third thing I
true,
want is
Yeah.
a little more conceptual, kind of hard to explain. But
Mhm.
you know when you make a custom block, you can put an input, and your input can be like a variable, it can be a number, it can even be like a Boolean, I believe.
Yeah.
I want so you can put the name of a list, and then you can change all the instances of a list inside of that custom block to whatever name of a list you put in. So you know how it says like item 4 of list 1?
Yes.
I want to be able to input something into a custom block that'll change list 1 to another list.
So you want to have lists as a local variable in your custom?
Yeah, so I can change all of the instances of that list to a different.
Actually, that's pretty cool. That's not. At first, I thought you were thinking about you were talking about the hacked blocks we already had, which is where I don't know why this is still not a thing, by the way. It's like they had it in there before, they just kind of took it out again, which is where you could put like a, for example, a join block into the part where it would say the name of the list, so you could like
join
make custom
this
scripts.
Item join variable of list.
Yes.
Okay,
That was a
so-
good block.
That would help so much because, like, first of all, lots of projects broke because they, made use of that, and now it just says combine list with that, and for some reason it turns that into a new list. It's awful.
It's
but
bad.
They, it's just like you can put a join block, for example, into the when thing pressed, when this button pressed block. So why not make it with everything? It's like seems odd.
Also, it's misleading because the shape, the shape of the blocks is very important to like what works with what in Scratch. And if I remember correctly, a lot of the list stuff has shapes that imply that it could work with a lot of different like sensing blocks and things like that. But it doesn't actually work with all of them.
It doesn't.
I nearly tanked one of my own coding ideas for my update project because I wanted to do something like that to handle my character's dialogue.
Yeah.
And halfway through, I realized, problem is this does not actually fit in that block, and the way I wanted to do this isn't going to work. Yep. I'm going to have to find another way to do this.
Goomble Gurt 2 is basically was put on such a delay because I had programmed this enormous combat script, and I was getting to the end, and the way I store Goomble data is it's just like a long string of numbers and semicolons and numbers and semicolons, and then I get rid of all the semicolons and I have all the numbers, right?
That's actually one of the coolest things. Like you explained this to us once before, and I want you to explain this on the SRCast in another time.
It would be
I don't know
really
if
maybe I could go into it more any other time, but
just make a video on it, honestly.
But essentially, I still am doing that. But when I first did that, I had the plan of being able to split those lists into different lists by just using a custom block. And it's a very long custom block, and I was just going to make the input, I'll just put the name of another list, and then I can put all the data into another list. And then the second I tried to drag the input onto the list name, it didn't go, it didn't stick, and I just had like an existential crisis. It was like, why isn't this going in? why can't I change the list name?
Then it slowly dawns on you like, oh no, this just doesn't
this
work
entire
like this.
I had to scrap. It's enormous. It was like a multi-enemy combat with multi-Goombles. You could have 4 Goombles out fighting 4 different other Goombles. It was going to be
4v4s? That sounds so much better than doubles.
Yeah, and you could have like, I'd make them balanced around it. So you could have like a team-wide support Goomble.
Yes.
Stuff like that, but that one problem.
Pokemon doubles is better than singles. Now I'm just imagining 4s.
That's so crazy. I mean,
and where it's all balanced.
I feel Klabss, without us having played the game, yet, do you think what's the Goomble Gurt meta gonna look like?
So
give us some random names.
So this is one Goomble I'm gonna make that gets stronger every time it takes damage, but it's very weak. And I'm expecting people to do everything in their power to make it really tanky, which will let it accumulate a bunch of stats.
Don't beat it up. Don't use beat up. Don't use justified beat up. Don't give us Whimsicott Lucario. Don't do that.
Okay, but the counter to that is using like poison, because that won't trigger its effect.
Oh, that's good.
So
that's good.
It just means you can't damage it, so like directly. So there's a ways around.
Good.
So that's gonna be, we're gonna see that in Goomble Gurt meta a lot. Is there like items you can give to your Goombles, like in Pokemon? No, right?
I was planning on it for a little while.
Would it be too hard?
I think I don't think I'm going to end up doing that, but there's going to be stuff that's like items. Like there's going to be boosting stats outside. There's going to be natures. There's going to be all
Nice.
the Goomble combining. There's going to be stuff like that, which I think
Are
See,
you
this
gonna
is
let
why
us
I'm
shiny
saying-
hunt?
So this is why I'm saying Goomble Gurt will be the Goomble Gurt 2 will be
Oh,
the
yeah.
definitive
It's gonna be
Pokemon
good.
game on Scratch. There is so much like nitty gritty stuff you can do in there. Like you can fuse them, you can breed them, you can IV train, you can. Apparently they have like natures and stuff like that. It's incredible. I'm so looking forward to this. And,
yeah.
it's gonna be nice. I hope everybody. I want to just give this hype out to everybody.
Honestly,
out there.
I'm hyped. I'll
Sub
play it.
Klabss.
I'm gonna play it.
There's going to be leaderboards. Try to see if you can get some high
Yes.
scores.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh.
I want competitive wallfish. Oh wait,
You
did I
know,
mention, is that
Watch Wolfie Glick make a new video. How I got to #1 in the world with wallfish.
There's also so I was planning on making a speedrunning thing.
Oh,
Oh,
Yes.
One of the features of the game, though, is that it'll detect your username, and if it does, and you've contributed a Goomble, it'll give you the option of having the Goomble you made. So if you do that, though, I'm gonna have to like deactivate the speedrun because that gives those players unfair
Yes.
advantage.
yeah.
Right.
you
That
mean
sounds
I
fair.
can start with wallfish? It's
Yeah,
Time
you can start with a
trials,
level 5
Pog.
wallfish.
Klabss, aren't you the most amazing person?
Klabss.
on Scratch? That is just man.
This- It's not the most
That's good.
ambitious crossover event of all time, but it is the most ambitious event of all
Yeah.
time.
It's actually a really kind dev thing.
Yep.
I'm so happy to hear about that.
Yeah.
And I think I would have been equally happy if I booted that up and was just met with that surprise.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Shouldn't even have said it. Should have just put it in
No,
their face.
Imagine being
I
one of the
alluded
guys
to
that
it.
contributed a Goomble, didn't listen to the SRCast, you hit green flag on it when it comes out, and he's like, whoa, I get this Goomble that I made?
Yep.
Poggers.
I'm sure there will be some.
Oh, I guess
SR
I can-
winners right there.
Let's drop an SR Wimmers.
Dropping SR Wimmers, everybody, is it's time.
Yeah.
It's been way too long since SR Wimmers has been dropped. The button's getting all dusty. Please give it some love. Do you think enough people have found out about the spam codes yet? Anyways, moving on.
If I see
So
someone
should we,
spamming emotes, I'll trash talk them. That's the rule.
I don't know who asked this.
is this like a Q&A? Sorry. Is this like a
Yeah.
Q&A question?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then let's properly introduce this by.
Hey, it's the ScratchRunning Podcast Q&A box. It's on my profile.
Go there. Q&A. Let's go.
Let's
Klabss, you had a
go.
Q&A question from somebody unknown.
Yeah, and it was,
Not
how
their name.
can I put 100 followers on Scratch on my resume and not get laughed at? And
I'm doing it now.
To be fair, it is my only accomplishment.
I have the perfect answer for this
Okay.
because
I'm-
I got into college basically with this.
No.
Yes.
Then you
on.
have done what I will not.
So when you what is Scratch?
That's just a social network.
It's a social media platform.
No. That's not going to sound good. It's an MIT-based programming platform.
Oh.
What are
Okay.
followers?
Good.
They're-
Keep going.
What are followers on Scratch?
Also, MIT
Disciples.
users.
They're endorsing colleagues. Instead of
So-
running,
I have
100 followers on Scratch. You got it right. On an MIT programming platform, I have the endorsement of over 100 colleagues on my programming projects. Any other
Oh my
accolades
God.
could be similarly written like this. If you're featured, say, a fellow MIT colleague
An
put
MIT,
me on the front page of this programming website
a member
endorsing
of
my
staff
effort.
at MIT has recognized my ability to program.
Exactly.
Guys,
that's
They've
what you're right.
recognized my
Wrong.
programming ability, which means that I am a good enough programmer to come to your college.
Exactly.
However, I'm not gonna do it.
I've been doing this wrong this whole time, guys. I can.
If you have 1,000 followers, you have been endorsed by 1,000 MIT
I've been
colleagues.
endorsed by 1,000 MIT colleagues.
MIT,
Yeah, so you just
that's one
put
of the
that-
universities I've ever seen.
Yeah, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Whoa, get this guy into our college.
Massachusetts, that's a
I was
state.
gonna say, so you just put this on your resume and come prepared with plenty of handkerchiefs so that when they say, "Oh, good, can you elaborate on that?" you don't sweat your way through your dress shirt.
And just keep going with it. Elaborate. Sure. And if you got to the interview, you're already winning. They were already curious.
It's probably true. And
Fair
from
enough.
that point onwards, you just go like, "Oh, it's
Well, you see, it's because they all fear my raw power.
I wouldn't go.
Say, well, take a look for yourself and open up your scratchbook.
you're open a laptop.
Feast your eyes.
All I'm saying is,
It's like
it's a
your
power
profile
move.
picture is the padding on a head, like
You can put other
It's a
accolades
power
on there
move.
too. Say I have made over 500 projects, even if they're unshared. You still made those projects.
Yeah.
I made over 500 projects.
I have
with-
experience in the programming field, having made over 500 projects for other
And
clients.
then say what
who
some
all-
consist of. Like one
all
used
love
a
my content.
calculator.
I
What?
did actually. First of all, I wanted to say we probably have made at least one person say SR Wimmers out there to their friends.
Oh no.
SR Wimmers.
Probably.
That's the timeline I want to live in.
That's what I'm saying.
I that's what I want to know right now.
Oh,
If anybody out there
no.
actually says SR Wimmers with their friends without,
I
being-
think it
being
would
part
be
of the SR.
really funny if people started saying subscribe to Scratch Running,
I
But
mean,
don't
also
harass
would be
people
very
about it.
beneficial.
but like subscribe to
Yeah,
Scratch
just
Running.
drop a subtle comment playing your friend's game.
But I also applied, for my current job that I have with some. I think I don't know how I mentioned Scratch.
And while Apfellord's looking for
Yeah.
that, the
I'm-
next
yeah, go on,
question
go
on.
is, I'm looking to get a can of Sprite. Where can I get this Sprite can you guys have been talking about? So check your local convenience stores. Look around the fridge. Sprite is hiding in places you would never think it would be.
Look behind you.
It's in your house.
Look behind you.
The Sprite is already there.
Okay,
I feel
hold
like-
on.
I feel like we're gonna actually get into trouble pretty soon.
How's
I don't know, I
that
don't
a
think
problem
so.
I
with
don't
Sprite?
think so.
They're
It's
talking
fine.
about Sprite again.
Oh, okay. So I found it, guys. I found out how I, use Scratch to apply for a job. Actually, Scratch obviously wasn't the only thing I mentioned there, but I did try to say less about the platform I was using and more what I got out of it personally, right? And
Right.
so
Yeah.
what I tried to say is basically, as a little hobby, I like to develop video games.
Developing video
Um,
games. Okay. I
And it
respect
says something, and then it says something along the lines of and through that, I also
You're
'cause I'm applying
self-published.
for I'm obviously I'm applying for the job as a graphic designer, right? Or stuff
Sure,
like
sure.
that. So I said, and through that I could be creative and design also. A lot of design thinking goes into the games and logical thinking,
Sure.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
I respect
problem
it.
solving. And so I use those words to kind of say, okay, I
Oh.
have these from that I
Like, in
learned a
that
thing or
sense.
two.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. So let's maybe end the episode.
Do we have an
I think
outro?
that's a good idea. Oh,
Alright.
we have the part where we all say who we are, starting
Yeah,
from the top.
That's a good
right
outro.
now.
I remain HmYesQuite, or quite.
Yep.
Believe me, I'm making video games, despite evidence to the contrary. I
Objection.
hope to release one soon. Maintained. But
Wait, it's my turn. Hi, I'm Kieran. I have a Scratch account. It is KTrav258. You are not inclined to follow me on Scratch, but
Other place? No, maybe not. You know what? I might.
You might
we're in
wanna-
a weird spot
I don't
with
know.
the Scratch team now.
I
just
I'm a scratcher, aren't I?
Scratcher till the day you die.
Anyway, subscribe to. I'm not gonna do it.
The realization kicks in. I'm just a scratcher. Oh no.
Subscribe
Actually,
to Scratch Running.
Yes.
That's
Kieran
me.
is written Keiron, by the way, just for
That's-
everybody out there wondering.
That's how my name is
It's not
spelled. That's
Karen.
like the canon spelling of my name.
Who's the next person?
It's me. I think, if we're going on this call. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, it's me, Klabss.
Klabss.
Klabss, you just call me Klabss.
Klabss kinda good.
I am a scratcher, and I'm working on Goomble Gurt 2. I might pop into some of these other podcasts too, because these guys are some pretty funky fellows.
Let's go Goomble Gurt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Let's go Professor Pistachio.
Professor Pistachio is
Let's
like
go
Yeah.
Goomble Gurt. Can I get some?
Look forward to
Can I
Professor
get some
Mahogany.
SR lulls in the
what?
chat for
Nice.
Goomble Gurt?
Yeah.
Give us some SR now, lols. Give us all of the emotes if you haven't used all of your.
Don't
cooldown
spam him
time
though.
Yet.
Don't spam him though. Please stop
or
spamming
do
the
and
emotes.
find out what happens.
Mess around and
feel
find
like not
out.
enough people. So yeah, Klabss, aka Professor Pistachio, or the other names of the professors that you will
Yeah,
find
the new-
out in the game.
Goomble Gurt Gen
Goomble
2.
Gurt the second.
It's gonna be
Whenever
good.
it comes
It's gonna
out,
be good.
be ready for
It's
it.
gonna be good.
It's gonna be great. My name is Apfellord or Nick.
Is it though?
I'm on Scratch 2 and
You're not on Scratch 2. Quite's on Scratch 2. You're on Scratch 3.
no, I'm in Scratch 1 still.
Scratch
I,
1.4.
Things are tough over here. I'm trying to use stamp blocks.
Oh no.
Monster World, the next Monster World will actually just be like a, I'm upgrading the Monster World but downgrading the Scratch version. So
We know a certain other person who allegedly used Scratch 1. Maybe we could talk about it then.
that sounds good. Some
Looking
dude
to
named
the next
52 that we teased for a while and then just kind of said, wait, no, he's not showing up yet. He's gonna show up soon.
Yes.
Don't worry
One
about
day.
it. It's gonna happen.
All right, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Okay, you know what?
Drink Sprite. Stay in school.
Check out all the projects we talk about in the notes and credits. Take part in the polls.
Yeah, it's true. Thank you all for listening to the ScratchRunning Podcast.
Leave a comment. What's your favorite type of fruit?
The recording
that's
has
a
now
good-
stopped.